Hi crafty friends! Today we are hot foiling with our BetterPress plate fall collection, and we are going to foil in the first 8 minutes, followed up by some card making. Let's play! Here is our first foil plate. This mushroom just spoke to me, and I envisioned an all gold card. I just wanted something that spoke. I wanted the foil to speak for itself with this card. I mean, I saw this card before I ever even started designing it. I want it to be clean, simple, crisp, classy. So I went with just the gold, and I was excited to see what the detail was going to be because I've heard the detail with foiling these BetterPress plates. And this was my very first foil, and I was just, so excited about this. Check out the line detail in this. It is just, it is just, I can't express how gorgeous it is. You couldn't, I know it went too fast there for you to see it, but these BetterPress plates foil just beautifully. Now, I'm adding a sentiment from a different set here, and I added my foil first. Rather than do the hinge method, I'm finding this to be easier for me. I add my foil down first, then I put my plate on top, and then I tape it in place. I'm finding that easier than the hinge method. I always mess the hinge method up by putting that foil under the hinge. I know it's helpful in some situations, but for the sentiments, I'm just finding this easier. So there is the sentiment, and that one is ready to go. So I'm going on to the next one, and I am kind of speeding through this foiling process so you don't have to sit here all day and watch the foiling. The foiling is only the first 8 minutes of this video, and then we will go into the actual card making. And I've got 5 cards to share with you today, so make sure you stick around. This plate here is the frame, and it is super detailed as well, and it coordinates with the notched corner dies in this collection, and I've done that in like a copper. So I really had fun choosing the different fall color foils, and I will link the different foils I've used down below so you can get an idea of the different foils there are for fall foiling. This corner die, and I'm calling them dies, but they're plates. But it is a gorgeous foliage, and it's got a really pretty flower on it. And in my previous video, if you haven't seen that, I'll link it here. The part 1 that aired yesterday, I did all the BetterPress of all of these plates. So if you've missed that, make sure you go back and watch that one as well, because we did all the BetterPress samples yesterday. But here's that foliage, and look at the mushrooms, and it's just gorgeous foiled. I just cannot get over. And this is my very first time foiling the BetterPress. I am showing you guys my first attempts at all of this. I believe in learning along with you, and this is, I mean, look at the mess on my desk. This is not set up. It's not, orchestrated or, and I apologize for all the scraps and everything, but this is me turning the camera on and crafting right along with you. So I am now doing what I did with that sentiment earlier, and I'm putting these leaves down onto foil and taping them onto the paper. It's a little off screen, and I apologize for that. I try to zoom in so that you guys can see better. But when I tape it down like that, it holds it in place so that I can turn it over so that the foil plate can, or the BetterPress plate, but in this case I'm foiling, but so that it can be up against the heat source. And once it's heated, we will remove that and run it through our Platinum 6. But I cannot express how much fun I had this day. It was just the exploring of these two systems together over this. It actually was oh gosh, I probably spent 4 nights foiling and using the BetterPress and designing on all of these cards and samples. And here I did a sentiment and an extra leaf. I had my phone died in between there, so I missed the other leaves coming out of the machine. But look at the detail, even that little tiny stem, and just the veins and the leaves, and the detail is just crazy. It's so much more than a foil plate. I mean, you have to see it up close to appreciate it even. It is amazing. So even if you don't have a BetterPress, I would consider the BetterPress plates for your foil machines. Seriously. But remember, do not, I want to emphasize this, do not use your foil plates in your BetterPress system. That will damage your system, and it does avoid your warranty for your BetterPress. So please try and remember that. The foil plates for the Glimmer are thicker, and they can damage your BetterPress system. So just wanted to make sure I put that out there. It's okay to use BetterPress in the Glimmer, but not the other way around. So here are some of our leaves, and I'm just showing here, these leaves all have die cuts, and that's a game changer. So that is so cool. And then these are just the last 2 sentiments that we're going to foil and get some extra sentiments in, so our cards have some of those as well. And the fall sentiments are really pretty with this collection. So we'll get some of those in here real quick before we start designing. I've got my puppy sitting here next to me. Little Miss Lola is sitting here next to me tonight while she's looking at me like I'm talking to her. And she's like, "What are you saying, Mama? What are you saying?" But she's being nice and quiet, so hopefully she'll be good while we're talking here. Your acts of kindness brighten my day, and your friendship is always giving, I think it says. Okay, we are back here for the designing process, and I've used that Graphic 45 collection. I think it's called Hello Pumpkin. I'll make sure to link that in the description below. I've used it for both sets of cards, the 5 in the first video and the 5 in today's video. And it's just gorgeous paper for fall. The colors are stunning. And I had a little pack of tonic paper that is like a pearlescent card that I also used for some die cuts. Here's our little foil die cuts. Aren't they gorgeous? Eee! I love those. The red one was my favorite. Probably because of my nails. My nails, by the way, were chosen by my daughter, if you can believe it. My daughter and I get our nails done together every couple weeks. And I said, I need fall/Christmas nails. I'm thinking of a burgundy, something that would go with both fall and Christmas in the videos. And she said, "Oh, Mom, bright glitter red. That'll be perfect." So, and I'm like, "Really?" And she said, "Yes, yes." And I was like, but honey, your dad's going to call this hooker red." And he does. He calls it hooker red. But I call it glass slipper. So I would prefer it glass slipper red. But hey, to each his own. So, but my husband did say they were very pretty. So, but my daughter loves them, of course, and she's gone. Last time she went with the bright pink with the glitter, so she's a pink girl. But since I wanted burgundy, of course, I had to have bright red. I didn't get a burgundy, but you just gotta love her. She's a riot. There's that card. It's a little busy, but it worked out. Now for this one here, I love this card. And that foil plate is actually, that is a foil plate. And that one is the Pines, I believe it's called. But I'll have it linked below as well if you're interested in it, because it really goes well with these fall products. This notched die set that comes with the fall collection is of course something we're going to use all year round. It's a staple, but look how cute it looks. I mean, how classy it looks with an actual rectangle behind it. I thought it looked really neat with a rectangle behind it. Showing those, it almost looks like you have a specific corner, you know, like a framed corner around your pieces. Now here, these leaves are from the Autumn Wonder set from the Envelope of Wonder collection. And that one die set, it's an add-on set for the Envelope of Wonder collection, but it is a standalone die set. And I would totally consider it a must-have die set if you like fall cards. It does not need the envelope at all, and it, you know, it goes with these items perfectly. I love the size. They're smaller than the big leaves, and for dressing up your A2 size cards, they're just the perfect size. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just using a little bit and tucking them in, and this is with a pearlescent card by Tonic Studios that I had in my stash. And I just love the accent. And it just gave this card a little bit of color. I didn't want a lot because I really love the gold and ivory. But I just thought a little tiny bit of pop of color would be pretty. And I really like the way this one came out. Yeah, I think it has a lot of class to it. So I'm just placing those under the corners here, and then we will pop that sentiment up and be done. So then we have one more card after this one, and it is a 5x7. So we're making the two A2 cards today, and then one 5x7, and then I have two bonus cards to show you at the end, including that gold mushroom card. Just gotta center it. There we go. Aren't those little leaves perfect? I'm going to add a little bit of bling to this one. And I had 3 or 4 choices here I was picking from. And I went ahead with these cream colored ones. These are a no hole sequin type from Spellbinders. And I'll have their embellishments linked below. But I also had one here, a rhinestone from Cat Scrappiness, and then another sequin that came from a Spellbinders Craft Kit of the Month. So that one won't be available. But I always keep them in my stash because they're so pretty. So there's always extras left over. So I was just putting them on a card and getting an idea of which one I would like. I always struggle with the bling on placement and if I want them or not. I always feel like I do too many or the placement is just odd to me. So if I start, then I either overdo it or they're uneven, or so sometimes I don't use them because of that reason. But I thought that looked okay. So for this last card, we've got a little bit more of those embellishments, but here is that gorgeous frame. And we're going to use those notched dies again for a centerpiece on this one. I just love the way those coordinate, but I'm going to be using those babies all year round. I love them. It's going to be a staple. Look at this gorgeous paper. I love this paper. I wish we could use fall colors all year. I could not stop making with this set, guys. I don't know if it, I mean, between the paper and the collection, and I bought this paper specifically for this collection. I went to scrapbook.com and I looked for fall paper, and I specifically bought this paper just for this collection when I realized I was getting it. So I'm a shopper just like you guys are. So I put this little bitty one in the center to pull all the paper together. And then at this point in designing the card, I realized, wait a minute, I forgot to put the leaves where I wanted them. I wanted them under the white layer. So I try to see, will I like them under just the sentiment? And I don't, because I'm covering up that center notched leaf area. So that's where I want them, under there. So I decide to get the little spatula and see, can this be fixed? And I leave this in the video because we all make mistakes, and mistakes are usually fixable. So I'm showing you guys an easy way. And this could have ripped. It could have, but it didn't. And so I left it in so you guys could see an easy hack on how to fix something like this. Now that little spatula there that I'm using is from Simon Hurley's Solar Paste and Lunar Paste set. It's very inexpensive. It's, $3 or $4 or something. It's not very expensive. I don't know the exact price, but it's on the Spellbinders website also. But I just grabbed it from my tools and thought, I'll try this. And it worked perfectly. And it stayed flat under those edges, and it did the trick. And I was able to save the project. And I was very pleased with it when we get it done here. If you hear any noise in the background, my dog is sitting here biting my fingers. She has to be teething. So excuse the little playing noises if you hear them in the background. She's chewing her collar. She's chewing my fingers. She's knocking into the computer in my lap. And I'm petting her and trying to keep her quiet while she plays. She's chewing literally my hand. So this little girl is a handful, but she's precious. But okay, here we go. See, I got it all fixed. Pretty, pretty. Now this is my sentiment, and I've got 3 of those layered together, which I was showing you just the thickness and how sturdy that is. So I'm going to lay that there in the center. That is hot foiled as well. And then I decide to use these rhinestones from Cat Scrappiness. I love their bling. Their bling is beyond gorgeous and very affordable. So I'm using a little bit of it here. And like I said earlier, I struggle with a bling. And I went crazy here and started putting it everywhere, every white space. And then I changed my mind and we pull some of it off, and I finally decide to go a different direction. So you can feel my pain here. And if you have any advice on bling placement, leave it for me down in the comments below, because I'm doing little groups of 2s and 3s, and I know to do odds. I know odd numbers are best. And so I'm doing just little 2s and 3s and in the little open spaces, and I'm thinking it's looking good, and then the more I look at it, the more I'm sitting here thinking, this just doesn't look right. So, the more I add, the more I don't like it. So then I change my mind, and I start pulling more off, and I go with doing just 2 corners. So you'll have to let me know. Should I have left it, or were the two corners the right choice? Or what would you have done? And do you have any tips? I'd love to hear them. I'd love some insider tips if you guys have any tricks and tips, because hey, we're all learning here, right? And we can learn from each other. That's why I say let's craft life together, because I'm learning every day as an artist. Here, this is, I'm just pulling it to look at it, and that's when I decide I don't like it. Um, I think I'm taking them off there, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, See, I'm pulling them off, and that's when I decide on the two diagonal corners. But but yeah, crafting life together is all about sharing and learning and loving one another in this business, and it not being a business, it being a hobby. And in my mind, it is still my hobby, even though it is a small business. It In my mind, it's not a business because I love what I do and I love sharing what I do. And all of you are my friends. You're not a dollar sign to me. And I want to know each of you and I want to share life with you. And that's my goal. You know, the only reason I use affiliate links is because it is somewhat of a requirement. Um, it's kind of hard to explain, but it is part of the game and it's part of being in the industry. And I want to be in the industry. So let me know. Let me know down below, about those gems. And thanks for listening to me babble. But I am sincere when I share that with you. Look at that. Okay, okay. This is very simple. Both of these are very simple cards. But the foil does it all for you guys. Oh my gosh. And then this is my gold one, the one we started with. I just added a little twine, and that's all it needed, and a gold edge. Grateful for you guys. Grateful for your friendship, guys. Thank you for being around with me in this journey. You guys and your support means so, so much to me. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.